Good morning, everybody. Listen, I just have to marvel at what is going on with the dollar right now. And, when you step back and you put everything into the big picture of what we have seen over the last 8 years, when you think about it, it is extraordinary. Think about all those quacks and fools, people like Schiff, people like Jim+Rogers back in 2008 and 2009 telling us how the dollar was going to crash, how the dollar was just going to get vaporized. And look at where the dollar is now. And so many of those people have flipped over to the other side now. And they must be kind of like just beside themselves with frustration and just incredulous when they look at what has happened. Like they have been so utterly wrong, so completely wrong. Only the MMT people got this right. And I was writing about this and I made videos about this back in 2008 and 2009. And I said this is what was going to happen. And others in the MMT, at least other MMT-based traders, there's not too many, but some people who were in the MMT community, they saw what was going to happen as well. Only MMT got it right. And I'm really the only guy who has put together an applied MMT system. I'm a trader. I'm an MMT economist. But really think about it. It is a fascinating turn of events. I mean, I had it completely, absolutely correct. All right? And now, when you see the 180-degree shift, how everybody is now clamoring for the dollar, and let me tell you, they're going to get it wrong again. They're going to get it wrong again. The dollar is peaking right now. It is really, really incredible. Really incredible. And that goes too for the gold people who are really quiet about gold right now. You had that sell-off because Druckenheimer, he sold his gold and now he's buying stocks when he was doing the opposite back in May. But where are the gold people? Where are the gold bugs? They're all scared. They crawled under rocks because they're afraid that the Fed is going to raise rates, thinking that is bearish for gold, when in fact that's a fiscal expansion. That's price increasing. Okay? So it is really an amazing turn of events. Not for me. I mean, for me it's interesting as an observer because I predicted all this. I forecasted all this. And I know what is going to happen. But for those who, listen, here's another story which is incredible. Back in 2009 or 2010, when the Fed first started to engage in its first round of quantitative easing, there was a hedge fund back at that time called FX+Concepts. FX+Concepts had started long before the financial crisis by this guy. It was started by this guy, John Taylor, okay? And FX+Concepts became the biggest currency-focused hedge fund in the world. They managed like 10 or 20 billion, an enormous amount of money. And these guys were always looked at as some kind of, geniuses when it came to exchange rates and currency trading and currency hedging. I remember very distinctly when the Fed announced its first, program of quantitative easing, of asset purchases. This dude, John Taylor, who ran FX+Concepts, and believe me, FX+Concepts was one of the premier hedge funds at the time. This guy, John Taylor, he came on CNBC, this quack network, this crap network, and he said, the dollar is really going to be paying for this big time. Like, in other words, the dollar is going to get vaporized because of the asset purchases. Again, and I knew at that instant, this guy's hedge fund was going to be in trouble. This was like Bill Gross in 2011 when he did the famous, who's going to buy them now? The bond king, not even understanding where the funds to buy treasuries come from. Those are dollars that are created by government spending. So I knew FX+Concepts was in trouble when he said that. Because here was another guy who was held up there as this genius, Wall Street investor who built this big hedge fund. saying the dollar was going to get destroyed because the Fed was basically doing an asset swap, okay? There was no money printing. All these guys, they were thinking it was money printing. It's not. So what happened to FX+Concepts? FX+Concepts went out of business. They lost 90% of all the money that they had. And this guy, John Taylor, now, I think he basically sells subscriptions or something like that. Not that there's anything wrong with that, obviously, right? But it just goes to show you, it is devastating. Look, there's only two ways to understand this: the right way and the wrong way. The right way is my way, it's the MMT way. The wrong way is religion. So, you can believe in religion, which is fantasy, and you can create stories in your head about, you know, the Fed and rate hikes and what the dollar's going to do and quantitative easing, and you can approach it as religion, or you can approach it as science, which is what I do. And that's why I win every single time. And that's why people who are with me, they win every single time. So, you know, it's all about, for us, it's really about just managing the effect of the zombies, the behavior of the zombies. But knowing what's going to happen, that's not a problem. That is not a problem at all. But it has been an amazing turn of events, I have to say, and fascinating to watch. And it's going to be just as fascinating, if not more, when the whole thing turns back around, which it's going to do. See you later. Bye-bye.